Look up at the sky for a moment. Who do you think truly rules the world above us? Is it the eagle capable of spotting its prey from miles away? Is it the falcon diving toward the ground at astonishing speeds? Is it the owl silently moving through the darkness while hearing sounds that most creatures could never detect? Or is it the bat, a creature that has survived on Earth for millions of years by mastering the night? How can some animals travel thousands of miles without getting lost? Why do some birds spend months in the air while others can barely fly at all? How does a tiny hummingbird hover in one place as though it were defying the laws of nature? Why are albatrosses able to cross entire oceans? And how can bats navigate through complete darkness without seeing anything at all? For thousands of years, human beings have looked toward the sky with a mixture of fear, admiration, and curiosity. We built machines to imitate wings. We studied feathers, winds, and migration routes. Yet even today, many of the secrets of flight remain hidden. Because the sky is not merely a vast, empty space, it is a battlefield, a kingdom. A world where speed means survival, silence means power, and a single mistake can mean death. Today, we are going to explore the astonishing lives of eagles, falcons, owls, albatrosses, bats, and many other incredible creatures that have conquered the skies. And by the end of this journey, one question will remain: who truly rules the sky? Every single day, something extraordinary happens above our heads, yet most people never notice it. While cities wake up, roads become crowded, and millions of people begin their routines, another world comes to life high above the ground. A world of hunters, a world of survivors, a world ruled not by strength alone, but by patience, precision, intelligence, and instinct. For millions of years, countless creatures have fought an endless battle in the skies. Some learned to fly faster, others learned to fly higher. Some became masters of silence, while others evolved extraordinary eyesight, powerful enough to detect the slightest movement from incredible distances. But one question remains: why did these animals take to the skies in the first place? The answer lies deep in the history of life itself. Long before human beings existed, long before cities, kingdoms, and civilizations appeared, the world belonged to creatures that looked completely different from anything we know today. The oceans were filled with strange predators. The land was covered by dense forests. Gigantic reptiles dominated the planet. Then something remarkable happened. Some animals began to change. Their bodies became lighter. Their bones became hollow. Their forelimbs slowly transformed. Generation after generation, these tiny changes accumulated. Eventually, one of nature's greatest miracles emerged: flight. At first, it was imperfect. Many creatures could glide but could not truly fly. Others could stay in the air for only a few moments. But evolution never stops. Millions of years passed. Wings became stronger, muscles became larger, eyes became sharper, instincts became more precise. Soon, the sky itself became a new world waiting to be conquered. Those who adapted survived. Those who failed disappeared forever. Even today, this struggle continues. Every feather matters, every movement matters, every gust of wind matters. A single mistake can mean starvation. A single second can mean the difference between life and death. Perhaps this is why so many flying creatures seem almost supernatural. Consider the peregrine falcon. At first glance, it appears to be an ordinary bird, but appearances can be deceiving. When the falcon finds its target, it climbs higher and higher into the sky. Then, without warning, it folds its wings. The attack begins. The bird transforms into a living missile. The air screams around its body. Its prey has only a few seconds to react, sometimes even less. Now think about owls. Unlike falcons, owls do not rely upon speed alone. Instead, they rely upon silence. Specialized feathers break apart the flow of air around their wings. As a result, they can fly with astonishing stealth. Many of their victims never realize danger is approaching. The darkness becomes their ally. Their hearing becomes their weapon. Then there are albatrosses. These magnificent birds spend enormous amounts of time above the oceans. Storms that would terrify most creatures become opportunities for them. Their enormous wings allow them to travel incredible distances while using remarkably little energy. Some may cross entire oceans without ever touching land. Then there are bats. Unlike birds, bats are mammals. They nurse their young, they live in colonies, they communicate constantly, and they have developed one of the most extraordinary abilities ever seen in nature, echolocation. By producing sounds and interpreting the returning echoes, they create detailed images of the world around them. To a bat, darkness is not an obstacle. It is simply another environment to master. But there is something even more astonishing. The sky is not empty. It is filled with invisible highways. Every year, billions of birds travel across mountains, forests, deserts, and oceans. Some fly during the day. Others move only at night. Many return to exactly the same place year after year. Scientists still do not completely understand how they accomplish this extraordinary feat. Some researchers believe they use the stars. Others believe they sense the Earth's magnetic field. Perhaps the truth is even more mysterious. Imagine leaving your home, traveling thousands of miles, and then returning to precisely the same location months later without a map, a compass, or any modern technology. Flying creatures do this all the time. And perhaps the strangest part of all is this. Long before human beings dreamed of airplanes, nature had already solved the problem of flight. Every feather, every muscle, every movement, everything had been perfected through millions of years of relentless struggle. But among all these remarkable creatures, only a few would rise above the rest. Only a few would become legends. And among those legends, one name stands above all others: the eagle. For thousands of years, human beings have looked at eagles with a mixture of admiration, fear, and respect. Empires carved eagles into stone. Kings placed them on their banners. Warriors carried them into battle as symbols of power. Even today, dozens of nations continue to use the image of the eagle as a symbol of strength, courage, freedom, and victory. But why? What makes this bird so special? The answer begins with its eyes. Imagine standing on top of a mountain and trying to spot a rabbit hundreds of meters away. Now imagine seeing every movement that animal makes. Every step, every turn, every attempt to hide. That is the everyday reality of an eagle. An eagle's vision is so extraordinary that scientists estimate it can be several times sharper than that of a human being. While we see a world filled with details, an eagle sees an entirely different world. Nothing escapes its attention. A movement in the grass, a shadow between rocks, the reflection of sunlight on water. Every detail matters. From high above the earth, an eagle patiently waits. It does not waste energy. It does not rush. It observes. Then, when the perfect moment arrives, it attacks. Its wings suddenly fold against its body. Gravity takes control. The bird descends at incredible speed. Within seconds, the hunt is over. Yet strength alone does not explain the eagle's success. Its body itself is a masterpiece of evolution. Its bones are strong but remarkably light. Its feathers help it control even the slightest movement of air. Its enormous wings allow it to remain in the sky for hours while using surprisingly little energy. Instead of constantly flapping its wings, an eagle rides invisible rivers of warm air known as thermal currents. These columns of rising air carry the bird higher and higher into the sky. From below, the eagle appears motionless, but in reality, it is performing thousands of tiny adjustments every minute. Nature has transformed the sky into a highway, and the eagle knows exactly how to use it. But life in the air is never easy. Storms can appear without warning. Food can become scarce. Other predators may challenge an eagle's territory. Young eagles face an even greater challenge. Many of them never survive long enough to become adults. The first flight is often the most dangerous moment of all. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff. Below you lies an enormous empty space. The wind pushes against your body. You have never flown before. You have no experience. You have no certainty. Then suddenly, you jump. For young eagles, this terrifying leap marks the beginning of a completely new life. There are no lessons. There are no second chances. Nature is the only teacher. Yet perhaps the most fascinating thing about eagles is not their strength. It is their patience. People often imagine that predators attack constantly. The reality is very different. An eagle may spend hours waiting for a single opportunity. One mistake can waste precious energy, and energy means survival. This is a lesson that human beings themselves have struggled to understand. Sometimes patience is more powerful than speed. Sometimes silence is more powerful than force. And sometimes the creature that appears to be doing nothing is carefully preparing for the perfect moment. But eagles are not the fastest hunters in the sky. Another predator holds that title. A creature so fast that by the time its prey realizes what is happening, escape is already impossible. The peregrine falcon. Imagine standing beneath an open sky on a perfectly ordinary day. The wind is gentle. The clouds drift slowly overhead. Everything seems peaceful. Then, somewhere high above you, something begins to move. At first, it is almost impossible to see. A tiny silhouette circles silently against the sunlight. Nothing appears unusual, but within seconds, the sky itself becomes a battlefield. The peregrine falcon has chosen its target. Unlike eagles, which rely heavily on patience and overwhelming power, the peregrine falcon has mastered an entirely different strategy: speed. Unimaginable speed. This bird is not merely one of the fastest animals on Earth. It is the fastest animal that has ever lived. When a peregrine falcon begins its attack, it climbs thousands of feet into the air and searches for the perfect opportunity. Then something extraordinary happens. The falcon pulls its wings tightly against its body. Its feathers lock into position. Its muscles become tense, and gravity takes control. The bird plunges toward the earth like a living arrow. The air roars around its body. The pressure becomes immense, yet the falcon remains perfectly in control. Scientists have recorded diving speeds of more than 240 miles per hour. At those speeds, even the slightest mistake could be fatal. A tiny movement, a sudden gust of wind, a moment of hesitation, any one of these could mean disaster. And yet the falcon continues. How is that possible? The answer lies in millions of years of evolution. Every part of the peregrine falcon's body has been shaped for one purpose. Its streamlined form reduces resistance. Its powerful muscles provide extraordinary control. Its specialized nostrils allow it to breathe while moving at astonishing speeds. Even its eyes possess remarkable adaptations. Without them, the force of the wind would make hunting impossible. Nature has transformed this bird into an aerial weapon unlike anything else on the planet. But speed alone is not enough. Intelligence matters just as much. The falcon must calculate distance, direction, altitude, wind speed, and the movements of its prey within a matter of seconds. Everything happens almost instantly. There is no time to reconsider, no time to hesitate, no opportunity to start over. The attack either succeeds or fails. Yet the most astonishing part of the story is not the hunt itself. It is the precision. Many people imagine the sky as an empty space. In reality, it is one of the most complex environments on Earth. Invisible currents of warm and cold air are constantly moving. Winds change direction without warning. Clouds alter visibility. Rain creates entirely new challenges. The falcon must understand this world perfectly, otherwise it will not survive. But the peregrine falcon is not alone. Other creatures have also become masters of the sky. Some rely on strength, others rely on speed, and some rely on something far more mysterious: silence. When darkness falls and the last rays of sunlight disappear beyond the horizon, another hunter awakens. Unlike the falcon, it does not chase the wind. Unlike the eagle, it does not rule the daylight. It belongs to the night. And in that kingdom of shadows, almost nothing escapes its attention. The owl. As the sun disappears beyond the horizon and darkness slowly spreads across forests, mountains, and open fields, the world begins to change. Most creatures retreat into hiding. The sounds of the day gradually fade away. The wind becomes colder. Shadows grow longer. For many animals, night is a time of danger, but for one hunter, it is the perfect moment to awaken. The owl. For thousands of years, human beings have feared, admired, and misunderstood these extraordinary creatures. Some civilizations believed that owls carried messages from the spirit world. Others considered them symbols of wisdom. Many feared them as creatures of darkness. Perhaps that is because owls seem almost unnatural. Their enormous eyes stare into the darkness. Their heads rotate with astonishing flexibility. Their movements are almost completely silent, and their appearance alone is enough to make many creatures freeze in fear. But what makes an owl such an extraordinary hunter? The answer begins with something that most people rarely think about: sound. Human beings depend heavily upon sight. Owls rely on something entirely different. Imagine standing in complete darkness. You cannot see anything around you. There is no moonlight, no stars, no movement. Suddenly, you hear the faint sound of a leaf moving across the ground. Now imagine knowing exactly where that sound came from. Not approximately, exactly. That is the reality of an owl. Its hearing is so precise that it can locate prey hidden beneath leaves, snow, or thick vegetation. Its ears are positioned at slightly different heights on its head, allowing it to determine the exact direction of even the faintest sound. To an owl, darkness is not a limitation, it is an advantage. Its eyes are equally extraordinary. Unlike human eyes, an owl's eyes are designed to collect enormous amounts of light. This allows the bird to see details that would remain invisible to most creatures. Every shadow matters. Every movement matters. Every sound matters. Then there are the feathers. At first glance, they appear ordinary, but nature has given them an astonishing design. The edges of an owl's feathers break up the flow of air and dramatically reduce the sound produced during flight. The result is almost unbelievable. An owl can fly so quietly that its prey may never realize that danger is approaching. No warning, no escape, only silence. Even the bird's hunting strategy reflects its extraordinary patience. Unlike falcons, which rely upon speed, owls often remain perfectly still for long periods of time. They wait, they listen, they observe, and then, when the opportunity arrives, they strike with remarkable precision. It is a strategy that has allowed owls to survive for millions of years. But life in the darkness is not always easy. The night is filled with challenges. Temperatures fall rapidly. Food becomes difficult to find. Competition becomes fierce. Larger predators wander through the shadows. Storms transform familiar landscapes into dangerous environments. And yet, owls continue to thrive. Some species have adapted to deserts. Others live in dense forests. Some inhabit icy regions where survival itself seems impossible. Others have learned to live alongside human beings. Perhaps that is why owls continue to fascinate us. They remind us that nature often rewards patience, more than strength and intelligence, more than aggression. Yet, as extraordinary as owls may be, another creature has mastered something even more remarkable. Unlike birds, it has no feathers. Unlike eagles and falcons, it does not depend upon sharp eyesight. Unlike owls, it does not rely entirely upon hearing. Instead, it possesses an ability so extraordinary that it almost seems impossible. an ability that allows it to create a map of the world using nothing but sound. The creature that rules the darkness in a way no other animal can. The bat. Long before the first cities were built, long before human beings learned to write, and long before the first ships crossed the oceans, millions of strange creatures were already ruling the night sky. Among them was an animal unlike any other, an animal that seemed to break the rules of nature itself. The bat. Even today, bats remain among the most misunderstood creatures on Earth. Stories about monsters, vampires, curses, and dark magic have surrounded them for centuries. In countless legends, bats have been portrayed as symbols of fear and mystery. But the truth is far more astonishing than the myths. Bats are not monsters. They are masters of survival. And in many ways, they are among the most extraordinary animals ever to exist. Unlike eagles, falcons, or owls, bats are not birds. They are mammals. They feed their young with milk. They form families. They communicate with one another. Some even create lifelong social bonds. Yet millions of years ago, their ancestors achieved something that almost no other mammals could accomplish. They learned how to fly. At first glance, a bat's wings may appear similar to those of birds, but a closer look reveals a completely different design. Instead of feathers, bats possess thin layers of skin stretched across elongated fingers. In other words, a bat's wings are much closer to human hands than to the wings of an eagle. This unique structure gives them astonishing control over every movement. They can turn instantly, change direction within a fraction of a second, slow down, accelerate, dive, climb, twist through narrow spaces. It is a level of agility that few other flying creatures can match. But the greatest secret of the bat lies elsewhere. It lies in darkness. Imagine entering a cave so deep that absolutely no light can penetrate its walls. You cannot see the ground beneath your feet. You cannot see the ceiling above your head. You cannot even see your own hands. To most creatures, such an environment would be terrifying. To a bat, it feels like home. The reason is simple. Bats have developed one of the most extraordinary abilities in the history of life: echolocation. As a bat flies, it constantly produces sounds that are far too high for human ears to hear. These sounds travel through the air and bounce off everything around them: trees, rocks, insects, water, other animals. The echoes return to the bat, carrying astonishing amounts of information: distance, shape, direction, movement. Within fractions of a second, the animal transforms these echoes into a detailed map of the world around it. In a sense, bats do not simply hear the world, they almost see it through sound. Even more astonishingly, they can distinguish one tiny insect from hundreds of others while flying at incredible speeds through complete darkness. Scientists have spent decades studying this remarkable ability. Engineers have even used these discoveries to improve submarines, navigation systems, and advanced technologies. Once again, nature had already solved problems that human beings would not understand until millions of years later. But bats possess another secret. Many species live together in enormous colonies. Some caves contain millions of individuals. Imagine the sound. Imagine the movement. Imagine millions of wings beating simultaneously in the darkness. And yet, somehow, these creatures continue to communicate, cooperate, and survive together. This is one of the greatest wonders of the natural world. But despite all their extraordinary adaptations, bats face dangers of their own. Snakes wait near cave entrances. Owls patrol the darkness. Foxes and wild cats search the ground below. Storms arrive without warning. Food supplies disappear. Survival is never guaranteed, and perhaps that is the greatest lesson hidden within the sky above us. No matter how powerful a creature becomes, nature always presents another challenge. Strength alone is never enough. Speed is not enough. Vision is not enough. Intelligence is not enough. Every creature must constantly adapt. Every creature must constantly learn. Every creature must constantly fight. Yet there are still beings that spend so much time in the air that they seem almost to belong to another world altogether. Creatures that cross entire oceans, creatures that ride storms instead of avoiding them, creatures that can travel farther than almost any other animal on Earth. And among them, one stands above the rest, the albatross. Long before the first cities were built, long before human beings learned to write, and long before the first ships crossed the oceans, millions of strange creatures were already ruling the night sky. Among them was an animal unlike any other, an animal that seemed to break the rules of nature itself: the bat. Even today, bats remain among the most misunderstood creatures on Earth. Stories about monsters, vampires, curses, and dark magic have surrounded them for centuries. In countless legends, bats have been portrayed as symbols of fear and mystery. But the truth is far more astonishing than the myths. Bats are not monsters. They are masters of survival. And in many ways, they are among the most extraordinary animals ever to exist. Unlike eagles, falcons, or owls, bats are not birds. They are mammals. They feed their young with milk. They form families. They communicate with one another. Some even create lifelong social bonds. Yet millions of years ago, their ancestors achieved something that almost no other mammals could accomplish. They learned how to fly. At first glance, a bat's wings may appear similar to those of birds, but a closer look reveals a completely different design. Instead of feathers, bats possess thin layers of skin stretched across elongated fingers. In other words, a bat's wings are much closer to human hands than to the wings of an eagle. This unique structure gives them astonishing control over every movement. They can turn instantly, change direction within a fraction of a second, slow down, accelerate, dive, climb, twist through narrow spaces. It is a level of agility that few other flying creatures can match. But the greatest secret of the bat lies elsewhere. It lies in darkness. Imagine entering a cave so deep that absolutely no light can penetrate its walls. You cannot see the ground beneath your feet. You cannot see the ceiling above your head. You cannot even see your own hands. To most creatures, such an environment would be terrifying. To a bat, it feels like home. The reason is simple. Bats have developed one of the most extraordinary abilities in the history of life: echolocation. As a bat flies, it constantly produces sounds that are far too high for human ears to hear. These sounds travel through the air and bounce off everything around them: trees, rocks, insects, water, other animals. The echoes return to the bat, carrying astonishing amounts of information: distance, shape, direction, movement. Within fractions of a second, the animal transforms these echoes into a detailed map of the world around it. In a sense, bats do not simply hear the world, they almost see it through sound. Even more astonishingly, they can distinguish one tiny insect from hundreds of others while flying at incredible speeds through complete darkness. Scientists have spent decades studying this remarkable ability. Engineers have even used these discoveries to improve submarines, navigation systems, and advanced technologies. Once again, nature had already solved problems that human beings would not understand until millions of years later. But bats possess another secret. Many species live together in enormous colonies. Some caves contain millions of individuals. Imagine the sound. Imagine the movement. Imagine millions of wings beating simultaneously in the darkness. And yet, somehow, these creatures continue to communicate, cooperate, and survive together. This is one of the greatest wonders of the natural world. But despite all their extraordinary adaptations, bats face dangers of their own. Snakes wait near cave entrances. Owls patrol the darkness. Foxes and wild cats search the ground below. Storms arrive without warning. Food supplies disappear. Survival is never guaranteed, and perhaps that is the greatest lesson hidden within the sky above us. No matter how powerful a creature becomes, nature always presents another challenge. Strength alone is never enough. Speed is not enough. Vision is not enough. Intelligence is not enough. Every creature must constantly adapt. Every creature must constantly learn. Every creature must constantly fight. Yet there are still beings that spend so much time in the air that they seem almost to belong to another world altogether. Creatures that cross entire oceans. Creatures that ride storms instead of avoiding them. Creatures that can travel farther than almost any other animal on Earth. And among them, one stands above the rest. The albatross. Every year, one of the greatest journeys on Earth begins, and yet most people never notice it. There are no engines, no roads, no maps, no fuel stations, no satellites, no towers guiding the way. There is only the sky, and still billions of creatures know exactly where they must go. As summer slowly fades and the first signs of winter begin to appear, something changes. The air becomes colder. The days become shorter. The winds shift. Food becomes more difficult to find. Deep inside the bodies of countless birds, ancient instincts awaken. An invisible signal tells them that the journey must begin. Nobody teaches them where to go. Nobody explains which mountains to avoid. Nobody shows them how to cross oceans, yet somehow they know. How? That question has fascinated scientists for centuries. Imagine being born in a place you have never seen before. Imagine growing up without parents to guide you. Now imagine leaving home and traveling thousands of miles toward a destination you have never visited. And then, months later, imagine returning to the exact same location, not approximately, exactly. How is that possible? To this day, nobody knows the complete answer. Some researchers believe birds use the position of the sun. Others believe they navigate by observing the stars. Some scientists argue that they can sense the Earth's magnetic field. Others think that smell, wind patterns, and even tiny changes in air pressure may help them find their way. Perhaps the truth is a combination of all these things. Or perhaps nature still holds secrets that we have not yet discovered. One thing, however, is certain. Migration is extraordinarily dangerous. Every journey begins with uncertainty. Powerful storms suddenly appear. Predators patiently wait along migration routes. Exhaustion becomes a constant companion. Entire flocks disappear. Many young birds never complete their first journey. And yet, the survivors continue. Again and again, generation after generation. Consider the Arctic tern. This remarkable bird performs one of the longest migrations in the animal kingdom. Every year, it travels from the Arctic to Antarctica and then returns once again. Its journey covers distances that seem almost impossible to believe. During its lifetime, an individual bird may travel a distance greater than the distance between the Earth and the Moon. Pause for a moment and think about that. A creature weighing only a few ounces can accomplish something that many human beings would consider impossible. But distance is only part of the story. Timing is equally important. If birds leave too early, they may encounter freezing temperatures and violent storms. If they leave too late, food supplies may disappear. Every decision matters. Every movement matters. Nature offers no guarantees. Migration is not merely a journey, it is a test. Perhaps this is why migrating birds have inspired human beings for thousands of years. Ancient civilizations watched the skies and wondered where these creatures disappeared to every year. Some believed that birds traveled to hidden lands. Others thought they transformed into entirely different animals. A few even imagined that they spent the winter sleeping beneath lakes and rivers. Human beings searched for answers, but the truth remained hidden. Only centuries later did we begin to understand the astonishing complexity of these migrations. And even now, countless mysteries remain unsolved. Yet migration is not simply about survival. It is also about trust. Imagine flying through darkness for days. Imagine relying entirely upon instincts you cannot fully understand. Imagine following invisible pathways across mountains, deserts, forests, and oceans. No signs point the way. No voice tells you where to turn, and still you continue forward. Perhaps this is one of the greatest lessons nature can teach us. Life itself is often a journey into uncertainty. Many times we cannot see the destination. We cannot predict what lies ahead. We cannot know whether we will succeed or fail, and yet we continue moving forward. Perhaps that is exactly what these extraordinary travelers have been teaching us all along. But there is another side to the story. Not every creature uses the sky merely to survive. Some use it to hunt, some use it to escape, some use it to protect their young, and some have transformed the sky into one of the most dangerous battlefields on Earth. Because high above our heads, an invisible war never truly ends. By now we have traveled across mountains, forests, deserts, oceans, and endless stretches of open sky. We have followed eagles as they circled silently above the world below. We have watched falcons transform themselves into living arrows. We have entered the kingdom of owls and discovered how silence itself can become a weapon. We have descended into caves with bats and learned that darkness is not always an enemy. We have crossed entire oceans alongside albatrosses and witnessed the incredible determination of hummingbirds. And finally, we have followed billions of travelers as they journeyed across the planet along invisible roads, written into their instincts millions of years ago. But now we must return to the question that brought us here in the first place. Who truly rules the sky? Is it the eagle with its extraordinary vision? Is it the falcon with its astonishing speed? Is it the owl, the silent hunter of the night? Is it the bat, the master of darkness? Or is it the albatross, capable of crossing entire oceans without fear? The truth is that there may never be a single answer, because the sky does not belong to one ruler. The sky belongs to those who learn how to survive within it. An eagle may dominate the mountains, a falcon may conquer speed, an owl may rule the darkness, an albatross may master the winds, a hummingbird may accomplish the impossible despite its size. Each creature possesses abilities that seem almost magical when viewed through human eyes. Yet perhaps the most remarkable thing is not what these animals can do. Perhaps the most remarkable thing is what they reveal about ourselves. For thousands of years, human beings have looked upward and dreamed of flying. Ancient civilizations created myths about winged gods and heavenly kingdoms. Artists painted birds soaring above mountains and oceans. Inventors spent centuries trying to understand how feathers, wings, air currents, and gravity worked together. Again and again, people failed. Again and again, they tried once more. Eventually, humanity learned to fly. Airplanes crossed continents, helicopters rose into the sky. Spacecraft escaped the Earth's atmosphere altogether. Yet even after all these achievements, nature continues to remind us of something extraordinary. We may have built machines, we may have constructed enormous cities, we may have explored the oceans and reached the stars, but we are still students in a world that has been teaching the same lessons for millions of years. The eagle teaches us patience, the falcon teaches us focus, the owl teaches us the value of silence, the hummingbird teaches us courage, the albatross teaches us endurance, and the countless travelers of the sky teach us to continue moving forward even when the destination remains uncertain. Perhaps that is why these creatures continue to fascinate us. Deep inside, we recognize something familiar. Like them, we struggle. Like them, we adapt. Like them, we dream of going farther than anyone thought possible. And perhaps that is why, whenever we stand beneath the open sky, we cannot help but look upward, because a part of us still wonders what it would feel like to leave the ground behind, to rise above mountains, to ride the wind, to cross oceans, to disappear into the clouds, and to see the world as these extraordinary creatures have seen it for millions of years. But before this journey ends, there is one final question. If you could spend a single day flying through the sky as any creature on Earth, which one would you choose? Would you become the eagle, the falcon, the owl, the albatross, or perhaps the tiny hummingbird? Tell us your answer in the comments below, and remember something: the next time you look up at the sky, you may think that nothing is there, but above your head at this very moment, another world is alive. A world of hunters, a world of travelers, a world of mysteries, a world that has never truly belonged to us, the endless kingdom of the sky.